Hey, okay, so see that? More, more. Like that's, God, like the more I see that move, the more the better and better it looks to me. Hi guys, my name is Crane, and I'm going to make a reaction and breakdown of KDA's More. For those of you who don't know, I am a professional choreographer. I've choreographed and I've done dances, music videos, and stuff like that in a professional capacity. I've done most of my career has been in competitive hip hop, both in battling and doing sort of like larger scale choreography. I pretty much know a lot of the people in the scene too. Some in fact might have even worked with Riot Games and League of Legends. So this is really interesting for me. This is something I really wanted to tackle. I didn't see too many choreographers talk about the choreo, so we'll do that. All right, just to keep you guys up to speed, KDA is a virtual pop group. They're basically characters from the game League of Legends. It was created by Riot Games. Their flagship is the game League of Legends. And what they did was to promote a skin line. They created a skin line where the characters are sort of like pop stars, right? Like K-pop stars, I think, particularly. And what they did was they made a music video and they actually like produced a song. And the thing was that song like went viral. Like it's so big. I think, in fact, right now it's around 400 million views at the moment, and which is phenomenal, right? Like who can really predict that kind of success for sort of a group like that? And this is not the first one. So they have actually came out with Pop Stars, and that one is the one that has like 400 million views. This one just came out a couple of days ago. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we gonna wear the crown. You could go another round. Full disclosure, I play the game. I play League of Legends. I know, like, I'm aware of the characters. I know their lore. I know their mechanics, their personalities, and I want to see how they kind of do, like, in this video. So I'm gonna have a couple of like things that I want to focus on. So one would be the video aspect of it. The other is sort of like the music. And then the third, and probably sort of supposed to be my bigger focus, would be the choreography, the dancing. This is my first reaction video. I'm not entirely sure how sort of this market works, but I will be pausing a lot. So if you really want to listen to the track, go listen to it on Spotify or on YouTube. All right, without further ado, let's get into this video in 3, 2, 1.
KDA, should we show them how we do it every day?
Oh.
Kali that girl, Kali go girl, Kali don't stop, Kali don't skirt, Kali got a job, Kali got a word. 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 than a buffet, 죽여주잖아 like a buffet. 누가 감히 on my outfit, 문 열지 마 that's a rock day.
Okay, let's let this play out a little bit.
필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미, but all of my numbers are talking babe. 부르마 on message monopoly. 넌 종이 돈이 나 money 필요 없대 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it, go get it, go get it. 더 미션 눈을 못대 못해 그래 너도 get it, cause I got it different.
Jesus, there's so much to talk about. Okay, what I like right now is right before this, they're doing sort of like these establishing shots. So you have the scene. So if I can go back, you have this right here. That's a motorcycle. We saw Akali riding this one. Akali is supposed to be sort of like the rapper of the group, and you have sort of this this room where all of the walls are screens, basically. So it's like a wraparound room where all of the walls are screens. You can see it even on the top. You see, even on the top, you have sort of like, what is that, like scaffold? I don't know, but it's obviously sort of like in a warehouse. So I like this, the lit up Tron looking motorcycle here. All the colors too. Like I like the blue with the contrast of like the harsh red around it, you know. And then you have this, and then you have sort of those shots like this. It's nice because you have these very classical statues, and you can see from the statues, what are these? Spikes? No. They're almost like impaled you know. And I like it because it has like a classic, but it's like a disruption, like of sort of this realism that's going on. You know, that was sort of like a bluish purple, and then you have this sort of like a lighter blue. And what do we have here? We just have things that are floating. So like an anti-gravity sort of a room. And then you have this, which is, it has sort of a very misty feel. A keyboard, I think that's a keyboard, and you see like a headset. You know, so it's like a millennials room. And then you have this establishing shot with characters actually in them. If you look at the whole thing, it's like, it's so grand. Look at it. It's pretty much like a queen's throne room. You can see how you have like the diamond motif going around into the walls, and sort of everything comes from a focal point. So it's sort of like Ari right there. So for those of you who don't know, Ari is like a nine-tailed like fox person. In League of Legends, they're called Vestaya if they're sort of like half human, half animal or some sort. But from her butt, she has 9 tails that come out. And if you look at the motif here, it's almost like everything is coming out where her tails like come out. So that's cool. And it's a very powerful thing. It's almost like she's the source of everything, which I guess is fitting because in this group, Ari is like the leader of the groups. So we'll see that. But it's interesting. They actually have it. And you can see she's the one who's actually sitting on the throne. And then everybody else is just sort of like around her, you know? That's cool because the establishing shot, I think there was 5 of them and there are 5 singers in this, right? There's, you have Akali, Evelyn, Kaisa, Ari, and Seraphine. Seraphine's the 5th. I know she's not really a member of KDA, but she's like a feature. You know, I think she's like an independent artist, and like she's a feature. So, but you have all 5, and we saw 5 establishing shots. We know this first one is Akali. We know that the throne is Ari's. So this is sort of interesting. All of them have sort of a realm, so to speak, something like that. And it's supposed to be indicative of their personalities. Man, I'm telling you right now, this video is going to be long. It's too much. This is like 15 seconds in. Jesus. All right, let's go. So you have a lot of this. This is very similar to like what happened with the Baddest. In the Baddest, they had, it was like a lyric video. So this sort of seems like that. It's almost like the Baddest was filmed in this sort of room, or it had the same like graphics. Huh. Okay. Oh, so she's a tiger this time around. Okay. Okay, so the thing with the helmet, if you haven't seen Pop Stars, in Pop Stars she had like a mask here, and when I think it was sort of like a neon light sort of situation, whenever she would talk or whenever she would rap, like she had sort of like a cool sort of animation going on here talking, and it was sort of neon, and I think they're trying to do sort of the same thing, so to keep with that motif, but I think now they're doing it with the biker helmet. One thing that you have to, for those of you who've seen a lot of Riot's music videos or League of Legends like videos, not music videos, but videos in general, it's really cool because their characters are, the way that they approach their characters are really they're really flexible in more ways than one. But what I mean by they're flexible with it is that they sort of have the option of trying to make them appear more realistic, and then at times they can completely flip that around and sort of make them very, very cartoony. I think one of the first videos I've ever seen was Jinx, and in her music video she has sort of like, there's like a whipping sort of effect to it. Even the video prior to this, Pop Stars, they like when they move, they have sort of a dime stop feel to it, and everything sort of just moves that way. So if even their jackets, even all of that, it has kind of has like a sort of stop motion to it, right? Where if you look at the frames, it's like they're like stopping. But then for this, if you notice, it's very smooth. And if you look at her body, like, yeah, I think it's nice that we get to look at this sort of slow-mo. But yeah, even the camera does depth of field sort of thing. But look at the way she moves. Look, it feels very organic, you know? And I think that's one of the cool things about this video particularly is that in this video, they're sort of setting the physics to be more realistic, you know? Like they're not just doing this thing, you know when in cartoons where sort of gravity sometimes like forgets that it's gravity, you know, like in the Jinx video I was talking about, Jinx would move. Like it's almost like she suspends in the air for a little bit and then she just falls, you know? So that's very cartoony, you know, and then sometimes their bodies stretch in certain ways, you know, but this is not the case. Look at it. Look at her movement. Look at that. God, the depth of field. That's crazy. Like that's how a human being like would move, minus her hair. Her hair is just like plastered on. Huh. Look at the tracking shot. Look at that tracking shot. That's pretty cool. Into the choreo. All right. So let's listen to that. Let's listen to that real quick. Because there's a lot of musical elements that are happening.
KDA, should we show them how we do it every day?
Okay, so I like that. So they're not only just establishing some of these shots or whatever. They're also establishing things in the music. So in choreography, I like to do something called branding, where you sort of brand a move to the sound. They're doing the same thing, but with music. So in the beginning, they do the na 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 na, which is like it's like it's preparing you for that sound. So you know it wants to capture that in you, and it wants you to remember it. So the song is designed in such a way that where it wants you to remember that sound. I think that like all that sound, I think that sounds like that doesn't even sound like a synthesizer. That sounds like a synthesized vocal. So they might have recorded vocals and then they synthesized on post. But we'll see.
Cali that girl, Cali go girl, Cali don't stop, Cali don't skirt.
Cali go gur? That's an interesting lyric. It's sick though. This flow is pretty happening.
Cali got a job, Cali got a word. 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 than a buffet. 죽여주잖아 like a buffet. 누가 감히 on my outfit. 그 문 열지 마, that's a rock day. Don't give any more cause I'm greater than. 필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미. But all of my numbers are talking back. 부르마 on message monopoly. 눈종이 돈이나 real money 필요 없대. 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it, go get it, go get it. 더 미션 눈을 못대 못해 그래 너도 get it cause I got it different.
So that flow, one of the things that was really like a standout in Pop Stars was Akali or Soyeon from I-DLE. This is her rap, it's her flow. And I like it because here there's a lot of you can notice that there's a lot of like mixture of English and Korean in it. Like God, that flow is pretty good. That's Madison Beer, I believe. Yeah, that's Madison Beer. So Mion has like a very, even though it's sort of softer, like sort of in texture than Madison's, you know, she still has a very good attack to it, and then Madison has sort of a has sort of like a sultriness to her voice. It's almost kind of like a bedroom voice when she sort of sings. So it's nice. It plays on the characters a lot, very well. All right, let's go to the meat. This is the choreo. Oh, slap drop. Hey. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so they don't show a lot of choreo there, but if we go back, I like this a lot. It's so funny because this song and this everything about this, a lot about this like sort of screams Blackpink. I'm not too big on sort of the K-pop scene, but I have seen Blackpink and this seems very reminiscent of it. But if you look at the pop stars choreography, I think it was Ellen Kim who did this. I don't know if she did this one either, but the previous choreo I think was more K-pop sort of inspired. I know that because I know what their goal was. Their goal was they were trying to achieve sort of this K-pop look, right? And that happens. You sort of have to try to avoid a lot of maybe like a lot of the hip hop swag and all of that stuff. Sort of, not to dipping low like the slut drop when they did that. I thought it was very tasteful. But when they're doing a lot of these moves, like they try not to get too close to the ground, right? So, and they were trying to hit a lot of the vocals because the way that a lot of choreography works for music video, at least traditionally, is that especially when like choreographers from New York would move to Hollywood to make choreography. One thing that they did was they were very good at what I would call branding. And how branding worked is that they would the thing that spoke the loudest to the audience is the thing that they were trying to choreograph. Why? Because it's like when you the visual representation and the oral representation of the song like sort of matches, and it sort of imprints in your mind even harder. So that's kind of like the synergistic relationship between like the choreography and the music. And the thing that's interesting here is they're hitting things like backbeats and stuff. So I think they have a move and they go I forgot the move, like cha-cha, like that, and that's not hitting a vocal, that's hitting a backbeat. Oh, I got it. Toop, right? So that's cool. That means that the choreographer, I feel like this means that the choreographer has sort of more free reign because they get to choreograph the sound. They get to choreograph the song as they hear it. So it's not just we're just going to hit the vocals, because that makes sense too. Like, again, remember, all their choreographies have a telos too. Like, it has an end. It has an end goal. So when they're doing a lot of that, like for this one, it seems like just my opinion, or just the way I see it, I could be totally wrong, but based on my experience in competing in a lot, like it looks like this person, whoever the choreographer is like really choreographing it, like whatever sounds hit his or her ears, just that's the thing that they want to hit. But at the same time, it also, I think this choreo is really well done. I feel like it's also achieving its goal. The slut drop. So this slut drop is pretty good. Like, it's nice because it's also very powerful. It has a lot of feminine quality without it becoming too obscene. Because imagine if they did the slut drop like facing where their bodies are facing towards us, it would look very lewd. But they do it on the side, which is very sexy because you can see the curves, the movement. I think there's like a very nice progression where it goes to the side and then drops, because it gives the element of it gives a sort of a vertical element to the choreography very early on too. So that's nice. That it's kind of like the girls aren't afraid to hit the ground, even though if you look at their heels, like, yeah, that's not super easy. And it's nice. They hit the ground, and then the sound goes oh, and they go oh, so they go up. So it's the musicality is pretty good. It's because sound has direction too. Like, so when the sound, especially when the sound like goes up in pitch, like you go up, and this choreographer is like not ignorant of that. They drop at the right spot, go up at the right spot. So that's pretty cool. They don't show too much choreo here, so hopefully we'll see more. Hey, okay, so see that? So the way they hit the first more, it's like a out, right? It's a sort of beginning of it. I like this sort of move right here with Ari's what is this? I think that's her cue. Yeah, that's her cue. It's funny, they're using Ari's cue in this one. In Pop Stars they did this thing, and they used they are basically doing her charm move. I forgot it was I don't play mid. So, like, I think that's just sort of a cool thing. They're switching to her cue this time around. Push. The way they hit the more, even though there are backbeats, the way they hit the more, they hit the, I think it's sort of a more music video sort of choreography style where it's like, more. So, dum. Let's go. And that's cool because the let's go is sort of like it's an accompanying sound. It's not so in other words, it's like if the lead singer is singing, like on the mic, let's see it's a live performance, they're not going to sing that part. That's almost like a backup vocal sort of part. But this choreographer had the wherewithal to really like add that part and really like choreograph it, and used it. And it's good because it has use. It's to get them off their feet. And it makes perfect sense with the sound. So that's good. Yeah, okay, so when she goes, the first more is more, it's right? Out. And then this one, it's I love this move. It's very hip hop, because again, it's like very grounded. You're taking sort of a lower squat, and it's like it goes one and ka. Right, so when you sort of do like this one and ka, what's nice about this is that they're hitting it at the word more, and if you see right here, that's completely intentional. The word more is right there. The name of the song is more, and it's nice when choreographers are capable of bringing out a move that that relates to the music on more levels than just sort of like oral. You're hitting both like a translation. So they're translating the sound, but at the same time, they're also interpreting the sound. So it's like 1, 2, 3. So they're not just hitting sounds, and they're not just hitting the word more. They're also hitting the meaning of the word more, which is they're going, do you want more? It's like, this is more. And it's not just 1, 2, 3. It's not just in one place. 1, 2, 3. It's not just that. It's they're going, ha. Right? So it's like getting more. It's like or. It's just, it's just escalating because the word is more. So I think I don't know if this was a really cerebral process. I don't know if this was like intentional, but my God, that's really, really cool. Again, it's more of, it does have more of like a hip hop vibe. No, I got it. I like that too. You see that? See how clever this choreographer is. More. And then this one, got it. The move for got it is got it. Got it. So they got it. And, it's nice because the move sort of goes with the sound. Got it. Got it. So it has sort of like a whiplash to it. And I like that because the move really goes, got it. That's pretty good stuff. Never running low. So never. This means never. This means never. Right? Yeah, I got. Okay, so here we go on to what I was talking about, like branding. Na 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 na. This is such a cool thing because I can already imagine that people who watch this, like the move that they will take out of this will be this, right? Will be this move. It's really cool too. Like when Seraphine does it, you see there's sort of like an after, sort of glow, an after image or this light, sort of this magical power coming from her fingers. That's really cool. Is she the only person who did that? Who has that? Yeah. I think it's cool because she starts up high. I think the only problem that I would have with it, and this is just so minor, is that the sound is going down. All right? The move is going down, but the sound is going up. The sound is scaling. It's escalating. Na 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 na. So it would actually kind of make more sense if they went up and went da na 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 na, like going up because it escalates that way. It's still a good move. Like I still think this move is like a good brand for it. Like, people like in their classrooms who want to talk about more are going to look at each other and be like, yeah. So that's kind of like what that is. It's still I think even with my criticism, I still think this is a brilliant move. Okay, so wait. How does this move end? I like that too with the And it's nice because it's one of the things, like, this is the reason why I know they're trying to brand that move. Like whoever you are, choreographer, you know, like, message me or whatever if you know me, or I'll try to message you or something. But like, I really want to get into this choreographer's head. I really want to talk to this person because, you know, like, this is a very, very intentional thing. This is a super intentional thing. You notice, like, in the other moves, they were really, like, hitting a lot of the sounds and they were trying to match intensity. But with this part, I think it's because it is sort of like a Seraphine part. You know, it's almost to give Seraphine a little bit of it's to give her a little bit of spotlight, even though she's technically not with the group, at least in this part of the video. Like, this is her move. Like, even the way she does it with the magic is sort of special. So they treat the move like they treat that sound special. So with everything else, like, even with got it and the more ka, you know, even like hitting that snare, like, all of this is there. It's all planned out. It goes well with the sound. But then you get to this part, and what they do is almost like they ignore everything else, and they're just concentrating on that sound. Like, that's what they're going for. They drown out. They completely isolate the sound. And one way that they're capable of doing that is, like, that's a choreography thing. Like, choreography, when you see the move and then, you know, and they do a move like this, or you hear a sound and then the dancer's movement hits it, it becomes easy for the audience to even more, like, recognize that sound even more. So this is sort of the power of, like, choreography, the power of dance, you know, because again, like, dance is sort of like supposed to be a visual representation, like a visual physical manifestation of, like, the sound, right? So it's very good. Like, it's very, like, this was a very conscientious move to remove everything away and to just concentrate there, keep everything within a box. So they're doing this move and they're swaying their hips just so it's not just this. It doesn't look like some weird tutting move, but, like, there's still some body movement with it, body involvement. Try to get that, like, nice feminine power, like swaying of the hips, make it very sexy. But at the same time, it's like they're isolating the sound. I'm gonna just keep saying that, isolating the sound. But that's really important. So for those of you who are watching who are choreographers, try to be more mindful about some of the moves that you do, because you can create trends without even knowing about it. Like, you know, so it's better for you to know about it. This, I don't think, is an accident. I think this was a brilliant mind that came up with this move, even though I think the sound should go up. I think the thing that no way does this move just keep. I think she's just doing the move, but I don't think that this move ends that way. That would just sort of break all of my preconceptions or like my current conceptions of this choreographer, of the choreo. It's more interesting because, to me, the thing that will salvage this, like the fact that it's going down, again, not too heavy of a criticism, but it's how they hit the apex of the sound. Na 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 na. Because even for her, like, when she's singing it, like vocally, when she's hitting it, it hits this point where it's not like a chest tone anymore or a throat tone. It's like it just goes it goes straight into it goes straight into a head tone. Na 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 na, like that, like, you know. Well, I'm doing it like octaves down, but for her, like, her voice cracks at that point. Not cracks in a bad way, but, you know, you're shifting from sort of chest tone to head tone already. So that's something we kind of want to see in choreography as well. So how are they going to hit this? I think if your choice is to do this, which, again, brilliant choice. If you're going to do na 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 na, I think the just has to go up. Like, even for you listening to it, even when you're singing it, your head goes up. So I think that's one good way to relate to the audience when it comes to that and to the sound. But hopefully I'm not mulling too much over this part. Hopefully I will see it. Okay, so so they do this thing where they create sort of like they're creating a box with their legs, and they're like swaying the hips here. That's a cool move too. And they do the bum bum. Was it blow your mind? Bum bum, blow your mind, which is cool. Like, again, that's musical. It's fitting the interpretation. It's fitting the lyrics of it. Also, I don't know if you noticed it. I noticed this when I paused it, but... Okay, they're all... I paused it earlier. Where was it? Okay, so I want you guys to pay attention to this, because this is Riot doing God's work. And when I mean Riot doing God's work is that they're creating this dance sequence, right? And they're making sure that not everyone is identical. It would be so easy to do. So what you would do is like you would just rig one character, because these are all like, for 3D animators, I think you guys understand this. These are just bones and weights, and you rig them, right? And then you create the animation. Now it would be so easy to sort of just like copy that and paste it onto like 3 other people. But what they're doing here doesn't seem to be that. What it seems to me, because I don't think this is motion captured. It doesn't have a motion capture feel to it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a motion capture feel to it. I think what they did was they actually animated each character like separately. Like that's what it looks like to me. Like it looks to me like they're yeah. So look I paused the screen right now. Look at where some of their arms are. Look at Kaisa's arms compared to where Akali's arms are. And look at how Akali's head is sort of like dipped in and her hands are right here. Like look at where some of their legs are, They're all animated separately, which is great, by the way, because if you had done that thing where you just copy pasted them, it would look like sort of like an MMD like video, when they would rig one body, or they would animate one and they would just copy it into others, and it just has such a mechanical look, like everybody is so perfectly in sync that it just loses a lot of realism. Because the fact is, like, no matter how, and trust me, I've witnessed, I've danced with some people, some dancers, some teams who have like impeccable timing and are impeccably like synchronized, right? But even the most synchronized group, because there are differences in bodies, there's differences in heights, there's differences in, all of that stuff. Like a shorter person actually has, will be able to hit arm movements faster than it takes for like a person with like a wider wingspan. And that's just how humans are, and that's also just how physics work, right? You can't expect them to hit the same point at the exact same time all the time. Even granted people of the same heights or the same physique or anything like that. It's because that's sort of like the human error. Like that's sort of like the variations between humans. And I think, and I really, this is what I'm saying, where Riot is doing God's work. Like whoever animated this is doing God's work. They actually, it's more tedious than it sounds. They actually animated each one of them individually, so it's to create that sort of human variance. It's such a good, like whoever were making this, like they really thought about trying to make this realistic. Although their hair looks like it's plastered on. Like look at I expected more movement from like the ponytails, Like maybe not Akali's, maybe you can say it's like hair sprayed on, or it looks like they wore the hat. But yeah, it's typical. It's very typical of sort of animation. Like if you're familiar with any kind of like animation, then you would know that in like this part of the hair is not moving, but then these parts are the ones that are moving. It just, it kills the realism a little bit, but I think that what they're trying to establish here is that their bodies sort of move like their bodies move sort of normal, but then the hair and all of that stuff is, to keep a little bit of suspension of belief, which is, I think it's fine. I don't think many people are going to watch this who've watched this video and they're going to be like, oh, I never even noticed. So it is what it is. So this is Kaisa's, I mean, oh yeah, well, by process of elimination, this is Kaisa's like realm. This is her establishing environment. Everything's floating and stuff. I like how the colors like glisten with her outfit. She's so shiny.
When I go, it's for gold, get it cool, but I'm cold. I don't fit in a mold. I'm a rebel.
huh, I don't fit in a mold, I'm a rebel. And then, while she's saying rebel, she's literally upside down and the world is like revolving. Like she's sort of unaffected by the world around her. That's cool. Like that's sort of film ways to get some points across, to get some ideas across, right? Oh, that's a cool knee spin. Hold on. Can I do that? I can do the first spin. That's easy. It's the half spin out of it that seems weird. She's also moving. So I don't wait. Well, okay, so the thing about Kaiza is that these things that are floating beside her, like actually they're sort of, it's almost like a jetpack. It's weird because it's not really attached to her. But it also serves as a jetpack. So I think that's also one reason why she could do that extra spin without elevating, because I'm pretty certain that people can do this move. Like, it's just that if you're doing that and you want to land the way that she did, first of all, you would have to get like good momentum going that direction. Another thing is you would have to have like a moment where you pump up, right? Because it sort of lessens the gravity. It will sort of, your trajectory going downwards, your movement going downwards, because you're gonna keep, like, as time goes by, when you're doing like a move like this, you're gonna press further and further into the ground, right? It's not the same. You're not sort of getting the same elevation or friction as you would when you first start the move. So you would just start like pressing more into it, and the only way for you to sort of like stop yourself from sort of reset that is to be able to pull your momentum upwards. So you would have to like sort of jerk up for everything going here, sort of jerk up to buy yourself a little less friction and sort of reset that. But I think it's like a knee spin move, but the variation is created because Kaiza has these things that can pretty much let her fly. So that's really cool. And I think it's also hammered in by the fact that, like right here, when she does the move, I don't wait. So there's a lot of things here, not only in the moves, but also in the camera, where the camera like shakes when there's like a bass hit or a sound, or some of these eventful moments in the song. But it's almost like she's answering my question right here. She's like, "How does she do that?" And then she goes, "Choot," and I'm like, "Ah, that's how she does it." So she's actually answering my question. Thank you, guys. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so all right, so that's cool. Okay, so for people who don't know anything about Kaiza's originally, she has her suit, her bodysuit is sort of like a living creature that evolves. So I think I've been playing a lot of Earth recently in League of Legends. For those of you who play League of Legends, you know, and you probably already know that my mechanics are completely screwed up by that game mode. But anyways, the thing that's interesting about her is that let's say if you buy a lot of magic, you buy items with a lot of magic power, then her W like evolves, right? And her whole theme, like Kaiza as a character, as a champion in the world of League of Legends, in her lore, is that her suit is sort of like a symbiotic suit, and it evolves. So it's cool. It goes with the line too, where she's like, "I got different DNA." So that's not just like a metaphor. Right? Like that's actually her character. She's actually saying, "I have different DNA. I'm not a normal human. I'm part void, I think." Like she's a void, like she's from the void. At the same time she says that line, she touches this thing that's a diamond or a Swarovski or something like that, and you just see it. Her hand just becomes it. So you see. Look at that. That's so cool. That's so cool. Just I like how they're able to put some of their their abilities in the game. So it's with Akali's smoke. So when she was doing that thing with the I didn't mention that earlier, but when she was doing the circles with the motorcycle, when she was like drifting, you see that smoke. It's like, well, because Akali does a move where she like puffs up smoke on the ground, and then everything just like disperse, and she can hide herself in that smoke. So that's really cool. So I like how they're really consciously putting these things in. That is so cool. I really like how her space is like, you see some of these statues and they're like posing, and one of them looks like this, and it's like he's tormented and she's sort of tormenting him. I like this thing though. Look, I'm very much about like the mythos, or like sort of like the archetypal stuff. So look at her. That's cool. She also, as a character, she also goes invisible. She can go invisible, so this is sort of like her shade mode. If you notice the things that follow her, I think they're like tentacles or something like that. They have like this slithery, it's like it's slithering, and that's just so cool. That is just such a cool thing. It kind of goes with like that idea. It's like she's kind of like a Medusa kind of like figure. It's like a man-eater sort of thing, right? Like she's like a man-eater. That's actually her lore. She's like a succubus sort of like a creature of lust or something like that. Even sort of like when we talk about biblical times, like when we talk about, you have like this almost like a biblical imagery of like Eve and the apple, you know, because apples are supposed to, you know, it's supposed to be attractive, like it's red fruit, and like snakes, you know, like how there's sort of like there's sort of like an underlying maybe evil element to it, and that's kind of like what her character sort of is, like a Lilith kind of character, and all of this, like, don't take my word for it. I think a lot of this is intentional. The character's name is Evelyn, as it like Adam and Eve, Evelyn. So I don't know. Put on your tinfoil hats and make of it what you will. You know what I mean? But just, that's not an accident. None of this is an accident. The queen on the throne. Yeah, she says queen. Yeah, see, even more snake-like images. And she even does this. She's like looking. She's like sort of walking towards like that male statue, and she's like wiping her, like she just, as if she just consumed the man. You know. Oh, that's cool. See, her little rocket pack thing just allows her to do so many cool things. Man, okay, I like the glamour shots where they're just like Vogue, but I also kind of want to see the choreo. I didn't even get to see like the second slut drop. Hey, okay, so I didn't see that move earlier. They hit the doom doom again. So you know how earlier they went doom doom? They hit that move again. This person's a proper choreographer, man. Let's go. Like again, so it's like keeping it low. They're sort of trying to capture that like sort of hip hop vibe. The 1, 2, and Yep, that's cool because again, not only do they have like the vertical element with the slut drop and all of that, but they also have a lot of like fore and hind sort of movement where they're creating depth going back and forth. Although here, you know, the camera is spinning, but if you were to watch this front view, you would see them go from front to back. Like 1 and 2 and so it's nice. They're playing with a lot of things. I think this is one of the things that that sort of lacked with the chorus choreography for pop stars. A lot of it was sort of like up. They are twisting. They're like, you know, but they're not creating a lot of space. They're not creating a lot of like there's not a lot of sort of spatial exploration with the choreography. By the way, not all choreography needs to be like that. This all depends on the attention. But I think with this is that, you know, the sound is a little bit more full. You see the bass has like this, like even the first doom, like it has a reverb into it. And they're playing a lot with the sounds. Like even like in Akali's part, like just listening to it, if you notice, like the snare hits have like a note, like a key behind it. It's like somebody's playing on the piano like a key while that thing is hitting, and then otherwise it's not. So they're like, I think what they're trying to do with this song particularly is they're trying to make it grand. so they're trying to make it like full reverb, like let it bounce around in your head sort of thing. So the choreography, like making use of more space, it makes more sense to me. It matches the song in scale, and I think that's really important. Your songs have to match the song in scale. One example, okay, let me rant about this a little bit, is that when people make choreography, and let's say the music is slow, sometimes what they try to do is they try to push the spatial element, like the space element of the movement too much, that I don't know, it feels like the character's sort of wandering. As opposed to having a character, having the dancer or the choreography be focused. So if it's a song about love, or is a song about like getting sort of freaky with it, you know what I mean? It's like you moving around too much. It's like it doesn't, like that's it feels really distracting. I think sexier choreo or more sensual choreo is something that has to be more like focused and it makes the audience feel like they're centered. It makes the audience feel like like their attention is the thing that you want, And don't take my word for it. Like even when animators or cartoons or whatever, when they would create a scene like that, they're trying to narrow the view more than expand it, because it's just not sexy. You want, like when you're in love or when you have something that you desire, your focus tends to like narrow. So when your focus narrows, it's like that's kind of what you want to achieve with the choreography. So for this, it's not the same thing. You're not trying to make them narrow. You're trying to blow them up, right? You're trying to be big. You're trying to take them everywhere. You want there to be sort of like, huh? What's going on? You're not so much trying to distract them, but you're trying to really like expand the audiences, like where your audience is being directed towards. So that's cool. Like this all makes sense to me. Again, whoever the choreographer is, like if you know, put it in the comments, because I really, really, really want to know. Oh, like this is such a good move. This is such a good move. Oh, I could not even pay attention to what the move was. What was that? Akali? Akali was like, Jesus Christ. It looked a little fragmented, but I don't know. I need to see the moves clearly. Oh, they're upside down. Again, look at this. Look at these cuts on the. Look at Akali's arm right there. It's almost it. Look at the sides. It's like you're really looking at them through a Swarovski crystal or a diamond or something. That's really cool. I like that. All the time. Like, see, with this kind of thing, like there are better musical options for that, but the point of that move is not to be musical. Like obviously they're still following some like aspects of the music all the time, like da 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 all the time, but like it's sort of an ending move, a lot of choreographers nowadays, especially those who compete, like they really underestimate the power of like a good ending, all the time, it's nice because it has like this, first of all, the pose is so powerful. It's like, look at him straight up, look at that popped one leg all the time, and then the chin up. So it's a very commanding move. So all of this effort earlier, and this is how they end. Like that's really good. That's really good. Like the message that's being portrayed here is that all the work I did earlier, all this stuff, all the working hard, like it's nothing. Psh. Even in the lyrics, all day, all the time, it's like to you have to put in effort to do this stuff, even with the music, and I don't have to. Like for me, it's just another day. Wonderful. Is that Korean? No. It's Chinese. Seraphine's Chinese. Let's go back. I feel like we just skimmed through this all day, all the time. Let's listen to the music. So they're creating space. So if the song was going so high, they're dropping it down. They're dropping it down. Only one reason why you would drop down a part of the song is because you want to build that. You just want to build it back up. Like Riot's music team, man. This is how I do it every day. Wow, wow. That's so much personality. Wow, wow. God, I like that because it makes it sound like even her, like when she's singing it, it's almost like she's in a daze and she's like, wow. Like, wow, wow. It's like she can't believe it, you know? That's so cool. That's so cool. That beat. Doom. Again, there's that looking through a Swarovski crystal. Can we also appreciate how all of their physique is different? Like Ari looks like a K-pop queen, so to speak. And then you see Akali has more of like a athletic build. She's still a little petite, but she has sort of like an athletic build. And then you look at Evelyn and she's got like, you know, wider hips. She's a lot more curvy. Like her legs, her thighs are definitely a lot bigger. And then you look at Kaisa, like I've been noticing this throughout the whole video, but like Kaisa's shoulders, her arms are just so sculpted, right? And then look at Seraphine. Seraphine has like pretty much the opposite. It's almost like she got like a ginormous thigh gap. Like she's really, her legs are very, very thin. Her arms are very thin. Like her shoulders are very, like, you know, even the shape of her face. Like Evelyn sort of has kind of like a squarish sort of face, which is, you know, like if you're an animator, if you're a sort of character designer, you design characters to sort of look the way they act. You know, that's like human beings aren't like that, you know? Like characters aren't just an accident like most of us are, right? You know, like there are people who have like really like chiseled jaws or whatever, and their voices sound like this, you know what I mean? Like I'm looking at you, Justin Timberlake. Just kidding. But for characters like this, their personalities are in their design. It's in the way they dress, it's in their color scheme, it's in their physique, and you can really see it. So Ari's sort of like this like perfect pop star looking thing. Kaisa, I believe she's supposed to be like the dancer or the choreographer of the group, so you can really see like she's worked out arms, all of that stuff, you know. Akali has sort of this, she's like has sort of like a spunky appeal. And then Evelyn is sort of like she's like sort of like a buxom beauty. Like she's like really like looks like a literal hourglass, you know. And then even her face, like even when you take a lot of these shots, she has like these where she has like this condescending look, like she's about to like eat you up. And then you look at Seraphine, and she has there's a lot of V's in hers, V shape. Like even her shoulders are cut, like. That's so cool because you really see that there's like a difference in their design and and one thing I also like about this is that their voices sort of match. I think the one that just doesn't kind of feel like the voice matches. This is not a knock on Jaira Burns, but it's like Jaira Burns and Kaisa, like, you know, I feel like Kaisa's character, Kaisa's personality in a lot of these songs is something that is moldable. Like there's a lot of things you can put. I think in the last one, it was Wolf Tyler. Like in The Baddest, it was Wolf Tyler. So she's sort of like a good place to put a lot of like other artists. She seems really flexible with her vocal style or whatever. But Soyeon, Miyeon, those are like going to be hard to replace. You know, Evelyn has to have like a mature voice. And then Seraphine has like such like this sort of sort of whispery like quality to it. Even when she's hitting this high note, her like she's not belting. Like that's a falsetto, you know. So she's very gentle sounding. Like she brings, even in this song which has a lot of energy, like she sort of brings like a gentleness to it. So that's really cool. Like all of these things, like a lot of modern songs or a lot of modern artists don't even think about. And you know, like Riot was able to put this together. Riot of all things was able to put this together. Jesus, man, damn good job. Want to see the rest rest of the choreo. They still didn't show it. Is this the last? This is the last chorus. Oh, I love how this camera is bringing us everywhere. Okay, one more thing about the camera is that in the last one, in Pop Stars, you had sort of this. The camera's always doing the same thing. It's just panning out over and over. It's just panning out over and over. Which, you know, like, that makes sense. It's because it's, you know, when you pan out, like, for shots, it's almost like they're moving away from you, right? You cannot invade their space. You can't invade their space because they're unattainable to you, right? It's different when they're up close, you know, like they keep moving away. So you see them and they keep moving away. It's just like, it's unattainable. Have you ever seen those films where like a person is like, there's this person who has like a dream sequence or whatever, and they're trying to chase something and they can't because the thing that they desire is like moving further and further away from them, or something's like pulling them apart? Like that's what it gives you. So when you watch that, it's sort of like, oh, that's so unattainable. It's something I can't grasp. But here it's like different. Like here, the camera is doing so much work. Like the camera's going up and down with the choreography. In that shot in particular, it's so cool. Like right there, because it's like, look, like it's literally like they're dancing. And you're just like walking around them. You're just like, oh, look at that move. Oh, look at this move. And they're not even looking at the camera. So it's almost like they're sort of blind to the camera. Like, but it's just so cool. Like the camera's doing so much more. I mean, look at this shot earlier. Look at this shot. No, not that one. There, you see that? It's like they're on a building and you're on a helicopter. Like not a drone, okay? But like you're on a helicopter. You know, like on the news where they're just like, oh, look on top of this building. So the helicopter would like go around, and then look, it just focuses as if it's telling you like, what is this? Like it's like, look, what is this? See that? Oh, there's that move again. I want to know what happens after Got It. There should be a live performance of this or somewhere. I think in the finals. Okay. That's still very street to me. I know that some people use that, like maybe they use it in a sort of K-pop capacity, but that's still very like, it still has a lot of street or like studio value to me. Like the like that's, I've seen that move forever. Like not a bad move, but it sort of tells you like what the feel is they're trying to get here. They're trying to get sort of a more urban feel. Okay, so that lasts all the time. Like I know maybe because it's Seraphine, and Seraphine's kind of like, look, I got it, and but I think that the move proper, the choreography proper of this is the all the time, where it's supposed to be like, it's just another day for me, sort of a situation, and yeah, like damn. Oh, and then this shot right here is your KDA pop star shot. Look at it. Look. No, I can't reach you. No, can't reach you. And there's KDA. Bam! And it's so funny too. It's like, I want to reach you, and then just something gets in my way, and League of Legends is like, buy the skins. So, yeah. Damn, it's really good. This song too has a lot of replay value. And you know what? Like, I will say this: this song feels like a proper song. And it felt like it was done by a proper choreographer. It was done by like a proper, like everything about this is proper. It's not that Pop Stars like wasn't, but I felt like with Pop Stars, like they were trying to go for a specific look, like the choreographers, like Ellen Kim and them. Like I know that she was going, I've watched Ellen Kim. I think I've met her a couple of times, but like I've seen her work, and she's a lot better than the Pop Stars video like shows. And I don't think it's a knock on her either. I know that when they're going into it, I can see the mindset that when she was making Pop Stars, that what she was trying to do was she was trying to like make it feel more K-pop. I don't know if Ellen Kim choreographed this, but like whoever choreographed this, it's like, they had more freedom with this. Like they were able to like give it some grit, like hit some lows, like like give it a bounce, like you know, not just the round round. Like this feels like very K-pop. Like it feels like they're trying to go for a look, but then this one it had like again a lot of grittiness, you know, like it felt good. It felt good. Like I think there's some moves that I really want to see finished. Like I haven't seen the whole choreography. The video just doesn't allow me to, but like this song, even the length of this song, you know, it has a bridge. It finally has a bridge, which is not like Pop Stars had a bridge, but it was very short. Didn't have much in it. There's no vocals, like, you know, no lyrics or anything like that. Like I want to look at a colleague. Like okay, last thing, like you've if you're still here, you've watched the video so far. Like we're already here. Might as well. I want to see the lyrics.
Kali that girl, Kali go girl, Kali don't stop, Kali don't skirt, Kali got a job, Kali go to work, 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 든 a buffet, 죽여주잖아 like a buffet. 누가 감히 on my hotbed, 문 열지 마.
Okay, wait.
So what's it? I'm giving you more cause I'm greater than. 필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미. But all of my numbers are talking babe. 부루마법 메시지 monopoly. 넌 종이도 네 number money 필요 없대 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it, go get it, go get it. 더 미션 눈을 못.
Get it, go get it. Okay, so this is what I figured, because this is sort of the feel I got from when they wrote the last two songs, Baddest and Pop Stars, is that the raps is written in English. And you can see, because even just in the subtitle, it's like even the English translation of those words rhyme. Right? So they always end on the same rhyme scheme. And that's not a coincidence. You know? Like this is not like a 4D chess thing. So I think that they wrote this, I think they wrote it in English and then they sort of localized it, or they translated it into Korean or Chinese. Well, Chinese is later with Seraphine, sung by Lexie Liu. But yeah. Okay, so that's cool. I want to see the lyrics of the chorus, and then we'll end. All right. It's good that I read her say life, because I didn't know what she was saying. Life on the throne. Like I don't know what that word was until I saw the word life. So she's just saying life, like sort of stylistically. What? I don't do middle? What? I don't do the middle or a little. Like that's, first of all, that's an English rhyme scheme, right? But that's funny because Ari's a mid lane champion, so of course she does middle. So that's cute. They have a lot of parts where they're like, I think this song does that a lot. Like this song particularly, even with earlier, like later on with the word rebel, and then like they expand some words so that it fits in like the syllabization of it, the phrasing, like the rhythm. Here you go, instead of something more, you know, they go here you go, like they're expanding them that way, which is cool because it seems like that's kind of like a motif throughout the song. It's not just some writing slight. It's not like somebody wrote it in English and then they were just trying to fit it in. Like it really does sound like a style in the song. Also, they're doing more really after the word more happens, because sometimes they would do it on top of the word more, but no, they do it like more more. Like that's, God, like the more I see that move, the more the better and better it looks to me. Never running low. God. Okay. There's much more like lyricism in this one too. Like, hey guys, and that's really the end of the video. Thank you so much. The video was really long. I had way too much to say. But if you really like my content, please like, subscribe, and comment. Really let me know what your thoughts are. I have a bunch of playlists. You know, if you want to follow me on my social media. It's really down there in the description box. And if you want to support me, like you can do so that way. Share the video, all of that kind of stuff. And Yeah, and also, you know what? I'm gonna tell you, why don't you show support to Riot? Like, really, if you like the skins, like, throw money their way, all right? Because this was really well done. Like, they really deserve it. If they're trying to go after your money, like, they really worked for it, you know. And we really want to see more of this kind of stuff. We really want to see more, really mindful art, you know. And that's what that is. So if you really liked it, please. I really hope to hear more from you. If there's anything else you want me to react to or break down or anything like that, just let me know in the comments, and you can hit me up on my social media, like I said earlier. And that's it, you know, peace out.